So why I wanted to make that entrance, I really do not know, but I fancy something a bit different because, like I say, we're still here, we're still at the HQ, and yes, we are doing our sort of early Northern Premier League predictions now. Take this with a pinch of salt, because I know that we are still very, very early on in the transfer window, and fixtures haven't been released yet, but it's just a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, and you're free to have your opinion, who you think is going to go up, who you think is going to go down. But like I say, we're going on based on what is going on at the minute. My predictions might change until the start of the season, but you never know. This is just my earliest predictions. But yes, if you enjoy your non-league content, this is the place to come. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. The road to 5k is on, and I want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, that's of course MKS Ground Care, who are, well, they're absolutely brilliant. They've been supporting the channel throughout the year, and without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring the videos. We wouldn't be able to show you lovely people all the great non-league stuff that we do, and all the stuff around Nottinghamshire, Lincolnshire. If I haven't already, all the stuff, all on screen now is all the stuff that they do. And that's the best out in Lincolnshire. They've done some great stuff with Retford FC, done some great stuff with Gainsborough. Why did I say Peterborough United for some reason? They might do, but yeah, great people. But I'm prolonging it, so without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to start with who is going to be winning the Northern Premier League, and to be honest, I think they're a club that, well, they're a club that just come up, and I think they'll have all the confidence in the world. And yes, they do have a bit of money behind them, and yes, they are, like I say, they're a great club. They've got a fantastic ground, Keys Park, that's of course Hensford, and I just think they're going to have that momentum coming up from the west. And yes, they have, like I said, they have got a lot of money, but how they're going to use, I think, for me is the important thing. But I do think out of the 4 teams that have come up from the east and the west, I do think that they're going to be, I think they're going to be the side to watch, I think, this season, that's for certain. Certainly in this league, yes. So Hensford is, yes, your numero uno. I'm going to go with the playoffs then, so 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Don't know why I put that, but yeah, don't. So 2nd, I'm going to go Hyde United. I've always, for the last, probably said the last 2 seasons, I've always had them finishing playoffs and maybe sneaking up, but like I say, last season they finished 9th, and I think they just petered out towards the end. I think that was their probably thing. They were fighting to get into the playoffs, certainly the last playoff place, but they just fell away, to be fair. But like I say, I am tipping them to do quite well this season. 3rd is Gainsborough. Now, losing Decker was difficult, but I tell you what, the signing of Jonathan Margaret, I think, is it's a sublime piece of business that they've done. So, and they have, you know, they've brought in some real talent. They've brought a lad in from York City as well. Hang on, what's his name? Adam Crooks. It was on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, the signing of Adam Crooks, to tying down a Will Lancaster. Yes, they've lost Bailey Conway, of course, who's gone to Cleethorpes, but I think replacing the quality that, they've still got some good players as well. So I do think Gainsborough, for me, there will be playoffs. They could be a dark horse to go up. I mean, Russ Wilcox, fantastic manager, knows how to get a club out of this league. I think they'll do very, very well this season. 4th is Guiseley, missing out on getting into the National League, yeah, losing to Worksop in the playoff final. If you haven't, we did do a video on that, actually. I'll leave a link in the description below. I do think, guys, I think they'll be there or thereabouts. I think there'll be playoffs, and I think the final team that's going to take the final playoff place, that's of course Ashton United. For me, they surprised me actually when I saw them in the semi-final against Worksop. They surprised me actually with the way that they played the football. I think they're a good team to watch actually. Even it was my first time seeing them, I was quite impressed by them. And I do think they could sneak that final playoff place. Who's going to miss out there on the playoffs? So 6th, 7th and 8th. Now 6th is one of the the second of the newer promoted clubs, Cleethorpes Town. Again, fantastic season in the East Division, absolutely ran away with it. And like I said, a bit like Hensford, I think they'll take the confidence into the higher league next season. I think they'll do. I think they'll upset a lot of teams, I think, with the way that they play football. Yes, they lost to Bishop Auckland when I saw them. Yeah, and it wasn't their greatest game, to be honest. I mean, Bishop came there with a plan and they stuck to it. But yeah, I do think Cleethorpes, I think they'll do relatively well this season coming. Ilkeston's going to be 7th. I think they're going to miss out, but they're going to have another good season. I think they'll, you know, Deeks there for another season. I think he's a brilliant manager. He's done fantastically well with what he's got. And like I say, you never know. Again, they could be one of those teams that could sneak in. They could have a bit of a run. You never know. you never know. And finally, 8th, Stockton Town. Now, again, they had a great season getting into the playoffs. I think they'll just miss out. I think, you know, going into their second season, teams will start to suss them out a little bit. But I'm still tipping them to do quite well. Yes. So I'm going to round off the top 10. So 9th, I'm going to go with Warrington Town, coming down from National League North. And I say we saw them. God, when was the last time we saw Warrington Town? It must have been about 5. It was before COVID. I can't believe it. So I've just looked. December 2019 was the last time I saw Warrington Town. That is crazy. I'm due to go back there at some point. Yes. 10th then, Warrington Rylands. I do think both Warrington clubs will be in and around each other. Rylands, the couple of times I saw Rylands last season, I didn't think they were a bad side. I think I saw them against Gainsborough. I didn't film that game. We ended up doing North West Counties Groundhog. But when we saw them against Gainsborough in the league, I thought they weren't a bad side. I thought they look pretty good, to be fair. So I do think they'll be top 10. I don't think they'll be fighting for the playoffs or making a late charge. I think they'll be probably mid-table. They're not going to go down. 11th, I'm going to go with Rushall Olympic, another side that's come down from the National League North and going into the Northern Prem for the first time in God knows how long. But I think they'll do relatively fine. Ian Long is a good manager. He knows Step 3 really well. He's brought in some good players. Yes, he's let a lot of them go. But I think it's it's a season of transition for Rushall Olympic. Just like Warrington Town, I think it's coming down from the National League. Teams tend to struggle a little bit. The first season they're still sussing out which players to go, which players to come in. So I do think, like I say, I think Rushall Olympic will be fine. I can't see them being an issue. So sticking with mid-table, then I've gone with 12th Widnes, 13 Leek Town, 14th FC United Manchester, 15 Bamber Bridge, and I think those are the set of teams. I do think I don't think they're going to pull too many trees. I've seen a few of them over the last time, but I think one thing is that I don't feel like they're going to do too much in terms of pushing for top 10. I don't think they're going to go down because, like I say, there are worse teams in this league. So then 16th, 17th and 18th, so the teams that I think are just going to finish above the relegation zone. 16th, I've gone with Lancaster. Now, it's an interesting one, Lancaster, because I was going to put them a little bit higher, but I thought, I'm not so sure. Last season they just scraped survival. I think they'll be down there again. And I think they'll be, like I said, with the teams that I said in previously, like the likes of Widnes, the likes of Leek Town and FC United, I just think they'll probably do slightly better than Lancaster. But you never know. It's one of those where a lot of the teams are very, very similar in terms of quality, but I could be extremely wrong, and they could have an absolute storming season. It's just one of those. That's why I said, look, take it with a pinch of salt. 17th, I've gone with Prescott Cables, and again, last season finishing 10th, good season. Say coming up from the Northwest, and I don't know, again, second season syndrome. Will teams start to suss them out a little bit? Again, depends on who they sign. Yes, this is what I'm trying to say. Don't shoot the messenger. Like I said, it's just a early prediction video. And I've got 18th as Workington. Again, I think they'll just survive. I'm a bit gutted I didn't do the road ground, but I need to go see Workington at some point. So then, who do I think is going to go down? Now, again, don't get offended. Please don't get offended. There's too much to get offended about in the world these days. But anyway, who's going to go down? Well, 19th, we're going to go Morpeth. I think well, yeah. 20th, I'm going to go Whitby. I think, again, they finished 16th last season. I think they're going to be struggling, I think, this time around. Again, when we were speaking about not so long ago, they were struggling financially. I think they're going to have another season where they're going to be battling relegation. 21st, I'm going to go Hebburn. Again, finishing 14th last season. Again, not bad in your first season, but I don't know, I just feel like they're going to be fighting relegation. And then who's going to go down? 22nd, Stocksbridge Park Steels. Now, fair play to them for coming up from the east, but out of the teams that are coming up, I think they're going to be the one that's going to be quite weak in terms of trying to recruit players, but also the fact that I just don't feel like it's going to be a season of struggle for them. But you never know, I could be wrong. Like I said, I could be wrong, and they could throw a curveball and end up having a great season. So there we go then. There is my list. Like I said, look, take your word, pinch of salt. We might revisit this before the season starts, especially with the fixtures coming out, and we'll have a bit more of an idea of who was signed who. And also we'll probably do quite a lot of these teams as well this season, so you know, I want to complete this league. That's certain. I think I've got about 5 left to do, but yeah, it's going to be a manic season, that's for certain. But let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to go up, who do you think is going to win the league, who do you think is going to go down, and which teams you want me to see in this league this season, that's for certain. Like I say, I've done quite a lot in this league, but there are some that I need to go and tick off. Mainly Northwest and Northeast, but we'll make a day of it, yes. But yes, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with more prediction videos very soon.